Hello and welcome to the AOR Pro Mazda Championship. This is Season 5, Round 7, brought to you by LM Rennsport. No bias intended. This is the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Here, 8 laps of this fearsome track. Of course, 1 pit stop is required here. Michael Mittner, your winner last time out at Mount Panorama Bathurst in what was a memorable race for the fact that only 4 people managed to finish on the leading lap. So, no chance for a qualifying lap this time around. These are your standings at the moment. Phil Reed has a slim chance of a lead against Michael Mittner. Martinson there in third, with Cowie and Leicester rounding out the top 5 at the moment. So, what is going to happen today? That will be the interesting question right now. So, we will get to your qualifying results, and Phil Reed, your championship leader, takes a well-deserved pole position ahead of René Osterkamp, the car that was fastest in practice over both days. And looking back down the field, you can see Leicester there in 11th, Saltalamakia there 14th, and a surprise there to see Liam Robinson down in 17th. Cars to mention, timer cleared back today after his engines come there. Cars are on the grid. Let's get ready to race. Lights are on, engines revving. A getaway is going. McLeod's got a slow start in the Hydroforce racing car. Same to be said for Knut Martinson. He has been leapfrogged. But look at the start that Phil Reed's just managed to get. He has flown off with the getaway, and he is soaring down these left and now the right in towards this big chicane. We'll look now on board with the number 34 car, Red Devolution's Christian Takash. He's got to deal with Ty McLeod behind him right now. That is the problem he's got. Well, actually, he's in 4th place at the moment. The graphic is incorrect. Takash has already found his way through. So, a very good start there for Phil Reed, doing exactly what he needs to do to break away from his championship rival, Michael Mittner. The gap was about 11 points as they came into this race. And, well, that will surely increase a lot further, not only in the Drivers' Championship, but the Constructors' Championship. Now, Christian Takash had a very unfortunate showing at Mount Panorama, as did the majority of the field. Of course, I forgot to mention just 20 drivers are here today to challenge this course. And, of course, one driver who is also making his debut is Mr. Obieto in the number 1 machine. Hopefully, he will have a good showing today. Of course, he did not win the championship last season, so taking the number 1 number is very interesting in that format. As you can see, the graphic has fixed itself there at the bottom of your screen. Christian Takash, the 34 car Norwegian from Red Devolution, finds himself in 4th. Ty McLeod just behind him, up through the hill and into this slow left-hander, slow right-hander even. Now that big slow left-hander to speed up through this right and onto the next tight and twisty section here of this circuit. You can break this track down into 3 different sections. Here, the first section can be very tight and twisty in places with some lovely high-speed sections. The second part of the track, a big long straight into the carousel. Another long and sweeping flowing corners here into this big right-hander. You can see McLeod trying to close down. So, front 5, Reed, Osterkamp, Mittner, Takash, McLeod right now. There is Andy Cowie in the distance in 6th position on the road right now in the 222 car. Now, something interesting to note is how long do you want to last here? Well, let's say if we use the driver's numbers, Phil Reed, 4 + 4, well, he wants to finish all 8 laps. Say, take Christian Takash, he will want to finish at least 7 with 3 and 4. McLeod, only 4 laps. But Andy Cowie, well, he might want to finish 6 laps, or he is imperative, he wants to finish 2. So up this right-hander to start the long, back, straight section. There will be 1 major corner before they hit this series of lefts and rights there. Into the left-hander they go. A small kink into the ever long-lasting right-hander. It sucks you in and you think the corner's over, and it just isn't. Mittner is falling off the back of René Osterkamp, who is closing down up ahead on the likes of Phil Reed there, the championship leader. And, well, Michael Mittner now is under threat. Takash going to the inside of the circuit right now. He is trying to get everything he possibly can sorted. Can he find a way down the inside here at this corner. They're side by side, the speeds are the same. Into the left-hander they'll come. This is the most difficult corner on the circuit, and Takash finds himself in the barrier, and that was not what he wanted, and he'll have to let the rest of the field through. So Mittner in third position at the moment, and there you can see Osterkamp and Phil Reed were side by side there, battle for the lead. Look how much time Rene Osterkamp has managed to close on that straight alone. Well, heading through the lefts and the rights, and down here it looks like we have skipped a little bit and missed the carousel out completely. What a shame there, but we're still here on lap 1 out of a possible 8. You normally say an 8-lap race, that's going to take you no more than 16 minutes surely. But no, this is the Nordschleife. This is 156 corners, and this is a lovely view of a tree into the left-handers that they come here for Michael Mittner, being harried by time clears. We get an onboard perspective. So, the 87 car of Michael Mittner is looking to try and close the championship down. Osterkamp ahead, another Diach driver, Diach being the Germans, the Austrians, and the Czechoslovakians. But at the moment, it seems that Michael Mittner is trying to close this gap. He is tagging along Time Cleared with him, and I don't know how happy Michael Mittner will be with that, because Time Cleared has shown in the early part of the season at least that he is a driver who can match Rene Osterkamp pace for pace. He can be there, up there fighting. He did get a 4th place finish at Silverstone earlier on in the season. Of course, he has been missing the previous 2 races due to an engine blip. Through this second carousel it goes. We switch to Christoph Leifster, who is flying into this left-hander, and he's going to miss it. He's going to go wide. He's going to hit the barrier. Oh boy, he rolls back onto circuit. No one in sight. So he just gets it safe, gets out the way. What a shame. I was aware that he was running a higher setup, a higher downforce setup, and it's not working. As we look back to leaders, Mittner strangely moving across to the right-hand side extremely early. Time and clear, trying to follow here. Little bit of weaving going on at the front there from Phil Reed, just trying to shake Osterkamp. Osterkamp's not going to close down fully, and Mittner seems to be out the slipstream. No one wanted to make a move. Of course, 8 laps, it's not a sprint. This is a marathon that they are trying to do. It's not going to be decided on the first overtake they do. It will be decided on the final lap, or otherwise they make a mistake. They're going to be 4 line astern, 2 Hydroforce racing cars, 1 AOR blue car, 1 LM Rennsport car here, and 1 lap will soon be completed. Just 2 more corners to go. Well, 1 for Phil Reed, and well, there you go. That is a lap of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Just 7 more left here in this exciting first ever visit here to the German green hell that it is. Well, this has surely been a good setup here, this opening laps, and you can see Phil Reed sets a 6:41.9 to open the account for lap after fastest lap. So, if you put that into perspective of 6:39s they were setting in qualifying, of course the track temperature extremely hot today, so understeer is a factor. But something to note is that you normally see a differentiation of about 1 second with track temperatures. Now the differentiation is a certain amount of about 5 or 6. So into the right-hander they go. They just climb the massive hill, and now this big left-hander, and Osterkamp is tucked underneath that gearbox as we still look on board with Michael Mittner. We'll try and catch to see the battle at the front, and it seems that Osterkamp can't find a way through. If you plonk your car in the middle of the road here, down this section, there is a very high chance that there is not going to be an overtake being made. And as I look now back at the graphic, it seems that Obieto has lost the car somewhere, and he is out of the race. As we look back now down at the battle for 7th, it looks like there was a change of position between Fowler and Jean-Francois Godin. Next on track for Fowler will be one of the championship contenders. That is Knut Martinsson of AOR Blue. A really consistent race he's had so far, and he'll be looking to try and do the same. So, can Chris Fowler for LM Racing push himself up higher into a position where he can challenge the likes of Martinsson and try and take points out of what Martinsson needs to be a championship rundown? Of course, We're here. This is round 7 of 11. There are just 4 races after this one. So points do most certainly mean prizes here in this league as we now switch to Marston. And it seems that Eric Hall is also in trouble and he will be trundling along at the back of the field right now. Evan Imre also seems to have had a pit stop or had an incident somewhere. So we will try and follow the rest of the field the best we can from the graphic down in the bottom left-hand corner. So, Chris Fowler now chasing Knut Martinsson here down this left-hander up the hill. They will come along. They've just passed one of the most notorious corners on the circuit. Through the right they go. Jean-Francois Godin will want a piece of the action. And if these 3 hold each other up enough... Whoa! They can see in the foreground running extremely wide and very lucky is David Michaud in 9th position on track. Very fortunate there. As you can see, Fowler trying to go around the outside doesn't quite make the move happen at the moment. So, looking for an opportunity here is Chris Fowler down. He is nose to tail, goes to the outside, will try and make the move stick here. And there you can see in the bottom left-hand corner a graphic there. Michael Mittner has lost a position to timer cleared. And it seems that Martinsson has lost out also to Chris Fowler down the series of lefts and rights, which are taken exactly at around 150 odd miles an hour because they are flat out through this section, up over the little crest. Into this left-hander they will come on board with Martin, who will try and get the place back again as we switch to Michael Mittner now. Into the carousel, we will see him for the first time, and McLeod's run wide there. McLeod's run wide and it sounded like contact, and there we go. That proves it. McLeod had touch with a certain Mr. Michael Mittner, and that could change the championship, you know. So, looking through, Martinson up in position, and, well, what a shame for Ty McLeod, who's going to drop down the order. He had a great qualifying on his first race back and proved that he was trying his hardest to prove himself to be equal to his teammate Osti. Rennie Osterkamp on board with Michael Mittner, still trundling along in 3rd position, gets it a bit wrong, and he hits the wall, and that could be a turning point in this Drivers' Championship. Mittner and Reed have looked pretty even so far this championship, and that was a mistake, and that was a big mistake, and that is one which could pay dividends. And there's a car off, and that is Knut Martinsson as we switch once again back to Liam Robinson, though, who loses it as we lose the cameras in the trees. Everyone is going off, and our graphic is just saying that Eric Hall is pitting 18,000 times. Wow. Liam Robinson gets the car going again. He's got Andy Brown behind him, but we will switch to David Michaud. We need to calm down. Let's just get a recap of what's just happened then. So, looks like Michael Mittner and Ty McLeod made contact in the carousel. That was enough to put Ty McLeod out, and then Michael Mittner managed to spin the car. Another mistake was Knut Martinsson making a very rare error for him. Puts the car around and around he goes. And then, well, Leanne Robinson, another AOR car. Only the only AOR red car that is going to be here today. He finds himself turned around as well through this second sort of carousel section. We are on board with David Michaud. And you can see he's still turning through that left-hander. It caused so many problems for the Skip Barber 2K World Cup, which was shown on the 7th of February. So, David Michaud now will try and get into the slipstream of his teammate here on lap 2 of 8. Something we haven't talked about yet is your pit strategy. Most cars will try and come in on lap number 4, but there is opportunity to come in on lap 3. There is opportunity to come in on lap 5. There you can see the car of Michael Mittner. They're very badly damaged there on the front wing. He'll be trying to be closed down by Knut Martinsson behind. 2 cars that have both made mistakes. Michaud tucked right underneath his experienced teammate of Jean-Francois Godin. One of the fastest drivers in this league, you would have to say, with the big 3 going out. If you are new to this series, we do not have Justin Brunner, your champion from Season 4. We do not have Kerry Nolden. We do not have Jamie Fluke. So, this is the time for the new guard, and David Michaud surely is one of them. And so is Jean-Francois Godin. He tucked in, deciding not to attack too much. Reed, fastest lap, a 6:40.4, and that is electric. But he still cannot shake the German at his home race of René Osterkamp in that Hydroforce racing car right now. Phil Reed will be looking for a race win. He would have seen Michael Mittner fall down the order, and hopefully he will find himself in a position where he can challenge for a race win. René Osterkamp still yet to get his first win here in AOR Pro Mazda. He's been a staple for about 3 seasons, I do believe, and he's found himself to be in a position where he can challenge. Now, he's had a couple of podiums which he hasn't had before. Of course, Silverstone with Lee N. Robinson there finished second, third at Interlagos, and still can't find a move down into this big right-hander of 120 degrees. It sucks you in this corner. Take it a lot faster than you think you can. So, Andy Cowie now in third position after all of that. Chris Fowler in fourth. Jean-Francois Godin in fifth. Confirmation of your retirees at the moment. Lionel Alberto, he is out. Christian Takash is still circulating the track at the moment. So is Eric Hall. Evan Imre still circling along with Time Cleared, though, who is out and having a tow right now. Lap 3 out of 8 currently, and we are focusing on this battle, this 2-car fight for the lead, and, well, it seems very much like AOR Blue are trying to dominate with their car again. They have had domination ever since they formed in Season 2. Of course, AOR was one team in Season number 1, back when we had the likes of the legend of Riku Alatalo and the like. So, AOR Blue have had incredible success under Kerry Nolden and Phil Reed. Partnership that brought you a championship for them in Seasons 2, 3 and 4 for the Constructors, and Season 2 for the Drivers' Championship. Season 1 for the Drivers' Championship. Kerry Nolden did have that, but it's enough about the past. We should focus on this race as we look at that. Phil Reed has managed to break away, has he? As we cut back to the 69 machine of Lee N. Robinson, of course, one of the race winners, and he gets very wide, big slide, very well held into that notorious corner, can surprisingly catch many people out, series of rights, and you don't know where to brake. As we look back to the front, Osterkamp is losing touch here through the series of quick left-handers right now, and, well, if he can stay within that 1.5 seconds, he can put himself back into slipstream range. He can put himself back onto the back here of certain Mr. Phil Reed. We are on board. You can see the eyes staring down on Phil Reed, and he doesn't want to make a move yet. He can't make the move sorted. Well, you'll have to keep waiting here. Will René Osterkamp looking for another opportunity into this big right-hander. Very long, very appetizing. To take too much out of it, because the next corner along is the banked carousel, and this camera shot does no justice. We get blocked by the wall, back out they come, and, well, it is surprisingly more banked than you think. If you imagine the banking of the old Monza circuit, well, it is very similar to that. Well, if you are just joining us, or you are skipping through this video, well, I suggest you go back to the start. Everything's happened in these opening 3 laps, and we are just hitting the calm now before the pit window will operate and open. Out in front, the number 44 machine, that is Phil Reed of AOR Blue, being chased by René Osterkamp, looking to get his season back on track after 2 DNS in second place. Andy Cowie in third for the 222 machine of LM Rennsport, followed by the sister team of LM Racing with Chris Fowler in fourth. Godin and David Michaud, the 2 team players, cars are 5th and 6th. Martinson, championship rival, 7th. Other championship rival, Michael Mittner, 8th. So, you can see why the challenge is there. We switch to David Michaud's car now of Team Players Racing, who has surprisingly dropped off the back of Jean-Francois Godin here through this section. We've seen these cars struggle to follow each other, actually, surprisingly, through these tight and twisty and even the fast and flowing sections as well. it takes a lot of difficulty and a lot of speed. There's not really too much you can change on the setups, which means that drag is an issue. But if you can get into that slipstream, you can gain as much as 10 miles an hour down the straight. Now, look at this. Fast through the left and right as we switch to Christoph Leister, who's kept the car going. You can see the damaged rear wing that he has, trying to get his high-speed setup sorted. But with that wing damage, it looks like his top speed might just be compromised. Through the right-hander, he will come along now. And through these tight and twisty sections, big right-hander now. As we switch back to Michael Mittner, heading through the left-hander now. And he's run it wide. He's run it wide, and he's found the wall again. Oh, my word, he's having a disaster. And Michael Mittner gets the toe instantly. That damage is irreplaceable. Unbelievable for Michael Mittner. He has just confirmed that he will not finish the race. Eyes on Leon Robinson. You can see how damaged his car is after his spin. So, Michael Mittner is out, and the championship takes a turn in favour of Phil Reed. Phil Reed, now, if he can win this race, can move more than a race win clear of both, I think, of Michael Mittner, but possibly his teammate, Knut Martinsson, might be the challenge. And look at the gap. They're unable to close down the front straight was Rene Osterkamp, and that is costly because Phil Reed now is in a world of his own. Look at that, a 6:38.8. What a lap from Phil Reed. He's found 2 seconds, which Rene Osterkamp could not capitalise on. As we look back again at David Michaud trying to catch back up to the car of Jean-Francois Godin, his teammate. Look at these right-handers there. It's so easy just to run it a little bit wide, catch that barrier. Of course, there is next to no runoff at almost every corner. Big lefts and rights, and now this is the opening chicane part. They can see into the right, and now the left again here before opening up and taking another left, and then another right, and then another left before hitting this long, big straight here. Up the hill they come, and into this left-hander. Up the hill again you have to go, and there is a possibility of catching airtime before hitting into the right-hander and then keeping the speed going. And Michaud will try and reel in and reel in and reel in. Of course, the slipstream seems to go and gets reduced even when the cars are heading downhill. We saw it at Panorama. We're seeing it again at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, lap 4 of 8. This is the halfway lap where we are currently. So, we're in a situation here where there aren't too many battles going on down the field. Cars are now starting to space themselves out after a hectic 2 laps. And we could be in a position where we can see changes to be made on silly, small mistakes. Of course, 156 corners, very easy to confuse one corner with another. But these drivers, well, they are the best in the game. If you are looking to help and try and get into this series, just pop onto iRacing.com, pop onto the Apex Online Racing forum, and try and enter yourself. Of course, you have to be in a class of D or higher, if I am correct, and also get yourself points more than 4.0. So, David Michaud right now, 6th position in the number 6 machine. He's had a quiet season so far, hasn't really lit the timing screens, hasn't really jumped out of midfield, and this is his opportunity to go from a midfield runner to the top. Cut back to Lee N. Robinson, who is also heading through the left and the right, and he runs it wide, and he gets very, very shaky. He's done so well. Save so far of the season from Lee N. Robinson. He is out of the barriers, and he has done a very, very good job with it. Wow. What a move. What a save from Lee N. Robinson. Now then, we are starting to approach the midway part of this lap, and now the drivers will be starting to think, have I got enough fuel to go in this lap, or can I do one more revolution of this circuit? Fuel strategy isn't as diverse as it is around other circuits. You won't see cars coming in in a 6-lap window. You'll see them come in on a 1 or a 2-lap window, which they need to do, because there is no refueling around most of this track. You just gotta find 30 miles. You can see Michaud harrying his teammate along. These two are in for some solid points if they cannot hit each other off. That is what they're trying to achieve. They're trying to achieve constructors' points for what has been a poor season for both of these drivers. Godin has found form of late. He is in 5th at the moment. He's had 2 podiums. And, well, into the carousel they come. They see a gap to Martinson is of about 5 seconds at the moment from what I can estimate, as they come out and into this fast and flowing section of the second part of the Nordschleife. We're starting to get to the third part of your Shakespearean tragedy. We've had the start which pulled out a lot of surprises with Christian Takash, who was challenging for 3rd position, find himself off in the wall at the start or midway through lap 1. Then we hit the second phase of our drama, and, well, we lost Ty McLeod of Hydroforce Racing, we lost the Scotsman, and we also lost Michael Mittner of LM Rennsport, the championship contender, to try and challenge for your race leader at the moment, Phil Reed. So, heading through the big left-hander up the hill into the right there for Davin Michaud, who is trying everything he can to stay onto the back of his teammate, and if he can, well, he will put himself in a position to challenge down the big back straight. Again, these lefts and rights, they just keep hammering at you. There is no respite here down the Nürburgring Nordschleife until you get to that big back straight of around about 45 seconds to a minute you can spend on that back straight. I haven't timed it, so I can only estimate there into the left-hander. 2 corners to go till they hit the back straight. This is your second carousel. It's thrown many a car off here because you are still turning afterwards, and there you can see Michaud ran a little bit wide through that corner, and that is why he's a little bit slower coming onto this back straight right now into the right-hander. You can see he's struggling, fighting the car for grip through every single stage, and you can see running a little bit wide, trying to get onto that slipstream as quickly as he can. Under this Audi Sport bridge he will come along, and now the big toe will come in. Change as Osterkamp takes the lead away from Phil Reed right now, and that is exactly what the Hydroforce racing car wanted to do. And now, can Michaud do the same to a certain Mr. Jean-Francois Godin, his teammate? It'll be interesting to see if he can. He's tucked right underneath his thing. Look, already past the tourist entrance, and, well, Phil Reed seems to have regained that lead. Had Osterkamp come in and Phil Reed not? Well, we're going to take a replay right now. This is Phil Reed's perspective from this traditional camera that you normally see in a 1980s late turbo era McLaren. And there you can see Osterkamp go straight through. Phil Reed trying to get onto the back, decides against it in the end. Through the left and right. Left again. Right, does the René Osterkamp come into the pit? Answer being that, yes he does. And I don't think Phil Reed was held up too much there after that. He will take the lead in lap 4 as we cut back to Michaud, who is still harrying the back of his teammate Jean-Francois Godin. Will either of these two cars come into the pit lane? Well, answer to that is yes, they will be following line astern into the pits. We look now at Andy Cowie, who has Martinson for company with him. So, these two guys have decided to go on as they are heading, well, have they gone on? No, I've got the track completely wrong, I do believe. Or am I correct? Well, they're heading towards the big right-hander here, the 120-degree corner. I got lost for a second, but I found myself again. So, Martinson holding off Andy Cowie here. This could be a battle. Further down the field, of course, Martinson was behind Godin and a certain Mr. Andy Cowie, which means Martinson has actually not made his pit stop yet. Osterkamp has come out ahead of Martinson on track, and that is crucial. So, for whatever work Knut Martinson was trying to do, he was unable to back his car up to a position where he could cause trouble for René Osterkamp, and that will hurt the tactical boys of a certain Mr. A or a certain team of AOR Blue. Right now, riding on board with the 222 machine of Andy Cowie. He's doing a fantastic job with himself at the moment. Up in 4th position after the pit stop, so net 3rd at the moment. Masterson yet to stop at the front runners, and he'll be looking to try and find a way through. Will Andy Cowie? Of course, there is one other guy who hasn't managed to make his stop yet, and eyes will be on the 44 car, the championship leader, the favourite from the pre-season bookies to win this season of Phil Reed. Well, 2 wins this season so far for Phil Reed. It could have easily been 3 at Silverstone. He didn't manage that. But he wants to be in a position where he can make that position work. He can get himself into a place where he works it. There is David Michaud, who hasn't capitalised off of the pit stops sequence there. He is behind Jean-Francois Godin once again, and that was the last thing that David Michaud wanted to do. So a quick rundown of your order then. Phil Reed is in the lead, but he has yet to make a pit stop and could potentially lose it to the number 29 car of Rene Osterkamp in 2nd at his home race. Cowie has just got past Masterson, as you can see on your left-hand graphic at the top. So he is 3rd in the 222 machine. Masterson 4th for AOR Blue. He's still yet to make a stop, and he is harrying Andy Cowie into trying to make a mistake, gain another position on track. Can he get anything sorted? Answer to that is at the moment, no, he cannot just yet, and he will have to wait. So, Chris Fowler in 5th for LM Racing. 6th place, Jean-Francois Godin, and followed very swiftly by David Michaud's teammate, the 2 team players cars. Just a quick update on your retirees. We haven't seen any retirees after Michael Mittner. So, Christian Takash is still circulating the track, but very far down in the order as he had been at Bathurst. So, it's just so difficult to overtake around a circuit like this. The track is at best 3 wide through the corners, and only really one true racing line that you can take in order to find yourself in a position to make the move stick. So, Martinson is now losing touch with Andy Cowie. He knew Cowie was quick. He pulled out a pit stop on him, and there you can see the tree once again obscuring our view, and that is not ideal from our camera placement, but you give what you get when you are taking these cameras. Of course, Mr. Istvan Balog, he does his best to try and replicate as many real camera angles as he can, and well, I think he's done a very good job in these camera packs, and there's not much more that he can do better. We are on lap number 5 of 8. We have passed halfway. We are on the second half of this race. We'll look at Jean-Francois Godin, not Jean-Francois God, unfortunately, because he is not going quick enough at the moment. He still has, unfortunately for company, David Michaud, but it seems that Michaud is losing touch with him at the moment. In 6th place is Jean-Francois Godin. Into the big right hand as we switch to Lionel Alberto, the number 1 car. He's back up and running once again after a few problems he's had. He's heading down this big straight into the left hander as he heads towards the 120-degree right. You can see he's got a little bit of damage on his front wing there as he heads into the right hander as we switch back against David Michaud, who's trying to hunt down his teammate. Well, if team players ever wanted advertisement space here on LM Rennsport, on this YouTube channel, well, you have just gone and seen it, because David Michaud now will try and hunt down his teammate once again as we get a replay here of Phil Reed. Is he going to come in this lap? I don't think the tanks can do 6 laps, and the answer is yes. He is into the pits very comfortably, maybe a little bit slow in on entry, but he will now need a stellar pit stop to get everything sorted right now. So, Michaud coming around this big right-hander, eyes on Rene Osterkamp, on board with him on the Hydroforce racing car. Let's see here on this replay if they will come out in a different battle here. How close will Phil Reed be? The answer to that being, well, Phil Reed is out and away, and he's got a couple of seconds in the bank. He's gone and done it. He's ahead, and he is marginally ahead. Well, not marginally, he is miles ahead, and he cannot afford to make any more mistakes now. He's just got to drive it clean, and he'll be home and dry. Just 3 laps to go here of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. If you said that this was going to be a very quick race, well, the answer is no, you are most clearly wrong. We still have over 20 minutes of running to go here around the big circuit. Still at least another 30 to 45 miles of driving still left in these tanks. As we look at the number 10, well, the 10th position place of Robert Plumley, who goes up and over the curb, but manages to keep his car going, and most importantly, on track. He's lost time though to Steve Kagerer in the Menarden, who of course we saw a lot of coverage of him over the Bathurst coverage, as there is David Michaud running incredibly wide, and bang! Up and over again he goes, and that is the end of that team player's car. Well, we've seen a lot of coverage of this Frenchman, and he's Canadian, I do believe, but he has lost it, and he is in a world of trouble. We are now on board with Phil Reed, who has lost the position to René Osterkamp, and what on earth has happened there? Well, he had a lead of 2 seconds. Now the gap is back and pegged, and now Reed will try and go around the outside of René Osterkamp right now. It is nip and tuck as they head into the small lefts and rights, and well, Phil Reed will give up position at the moment. So, can René Osterkamp hold on to this lead for 2 more laps as they cross the line? That is the question we're asking here. It is a straight up dogfight. The gap back to Andy Cowie is at least 10 seconds right now. So, answers on a postcard. Place your bets. There are 2 laps to go, and the German at his home race is actually doing exactly what he needs to be. He's cool, and he's calm, and he's collected. Phil Reed being a little bit erratic, and something we have noticed is that when Phil Reed's been on his own, he's made mistakes. He's gone off not once but twice apparently to let René Osterkamp back in to fight against him. And well, the only time he's really been cool is either A, when he's been chasing, or B, when he is under a serious amount of pressure. They can see going side by side up the hill into the right-hander. This is brave stuff. Phil goes round the outside. What a move from Phil Reed, who puts himself back in the driving seat into the lead of the race. But now Osterkamp will try and go back. It looks like Osterkamp has a lower high-speed setup to try and work it in the corners, but I don't think Osterkamp can close up quite enough here down this this quick, long left-hander, and no, he cannot. Wow, what a move from Phil Reed. That is the move of the race so far. There is still opportunity there. As you can see, Osterkamp trying to poke his nose out. Can he get anything there? No. But you have to see again, just taking 2 completely different lines through that corner. And Phil Reed seems to have the better of this section, because Osterkamp seems to hemorrhage time more and more. You can see once again those yellow eyes on the front. The blue eyes, though, are on the side of Hydroforce Racing, designed, of course, by a former driver of this league, that is Teemu Valkjärvi. So, we look back to the team players machine of Jean-Francois Godin right now, heading up to, just to the big lefts and rights. He's having a very quiet race at the moment in fourth, as we look back to René Osterkamp, who is still holding on to the back of Phil Reed here through this big right-hander. Still trying to hold on, trying to get into a position where he can make an overtake. Into the left-hander they go. It's so difficult, that section, because you're undulating downhill after a series of rights, and you might just be turning into braking, which could throw the car into the wall. Into the left-hander. Well, yes, the left-hander they go to climb up the hill, and Phil Reed now starting to break away once again. Cannot afford to let him do that, René. Oh, not a chance in hell. Wow. So, something to note is we have also seen Leanne Robinson drop down the timing screens, and same with Christoph Leister. They are 13th and 14th respectively at the moment. Christian Takash seems that he can't get his car running fantastically either. But remember, there is a point for everyone here. Points all the way down to 20th position if you can finish properly. So that will be very beneficial for everyone. Osterkamp all over the back of Phil Reed, the championship leader right now. Can he make the move stick? Well, can he make a move? Answer, well, it doesn't look like he can right now. He's got to stay on the back, heading towards the final lap of this race. You can see Phil Reed running a little bit wide there, actually, and that will give an opportunity for a certain Rene Osterkamp to try and come through for Hydroforce Racing. Of course, Hydroforce Racing are a brand new team that formed this season, looking for their first win. They've been in, up, and around all season long, and, well, they can't seem to find the magic formula yet. And what a jewel in the crown it would be to put a win at the Nürburgring Nordschleife on your driving resume. Well, for those of you who are newcomers to this series, this is the AOR Pro Mazda Championship. Here on iRacing.com, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, your overtakes are happening in the bottom left. If I do manage to miss quite a few of them. Top left, you can see are your drivers, and, well, your biggest mover and shaker in the grid right now is Andy Cowie, who has flown up the field. Well, in your top three, that is. Well, these cars are not a little bit like your Formula 1 cars. Of course, Star Mazda was built around the track of Laguna Seca, which was where we started the season off here, season number 5. And, well, these cars can do up to 150 mile an hour, 116 the slipstream, and they are incredibly lightweight as well, so you can fling them hard into the corners. The differentiations in downforce settings, in engine gear ratios, pretty much almost everything you'd find on the real thing. So, can Rene Osterkamp get into or stay in slipstream range? At the moment, it seems a little bit sketchy, and if he's out of slipstream range here, he could possibly be out of slipstream range down at the end. And right now, Osterkamp is in no position to chase down Phil Reed. I think it's going to be a slow boiler trying to get back. This is Andy Cowie, who's running a little bit wide, and whoa, half spins it. Can he get it going before Jean-Francois Godin comes along? Answer big. Well, I haven't seen anything on the overtake monitor. He can't. But eyes at the front. Eyes on this big battle, because Osterkamp is closing. There is small weaving. You can see going all the way to the left-hand side of the track now is Phil Reed trying to find a way through. Now slowly building the car right. It's a little bit naughty to start weaving here on the straights. But at the moment, nothing seems to come of it. Osterkamp moving to the outside and now hits the wall, hits the downhill section, and all that speed is negated right now, and Phil Reed will hold on in this section, and one more lap of the Nürburgring Nordschleife to go after this. Rene Osterkamp and Phil Reed, one of these two could win this race, and now just a few more corners will go around to see who will win the prestigious Nürburgring Nordschleife here at LM Rennsport's YouTube channel. I mean, you can see already just how much Phil Reed is trying to push away. He's using a lot more of the track to try and maximise his apex speeds in and out. Osterkamp trying to drive a little bit more conservatively, and he can afford to do that, but he will have to try and make a move somewhere around this circuit if he wants an opportunity. Chris Fowler seems that he is in the pits. He might have just underfueled his car, and that would be a shame for him. He has dropped right down the order in 11th. He was running up, looking for 4th place on track, but now Osterkamp trying to find a way around here. He's going to go to the outside. It's Phil Reed on the inside, but something to note is it will turn into the outside at the end of this big left-hander, and no, Osterkamp doesn't have the top speed to go and make the move. What a shame, but they are going to run nose to tail, and this is where you see Phil Reed start to make the gaps pay, start to try and pull away as they head towards the big left-hander down at the end of this sort of section here. Osterkamp underneath that gearbox, trying to find a way through. Left-hand he goes. They can see Phil Reed. Yep, Phil Reed trying to carry more speed, and it is working. Osterkamp has been beaten every single time through this section, and once again he is, because Phil Reed gets a beautiful drive out of that corner, and he just seems to give himself a bit of breathing room, enough that he needs it. Just about 3/4 of the track remains here for these two drivers. One of them could take it. Otherwise, if they both hit off, then Andy Cowie will be there to step in. Something to note in the championship, Martinson is 5th. If it stays as it is, Martinson will be on equal points with a certain Mr. Michael Mittner right now. So, you can see heading through the big right-handers, heading down this straight, trying to get onto, well, into this big, slow left-hander. It catches so many people out. Neither of these two have fallen foul today, but they're going to continue to run here into the right-hander. Now up the hill. This is where Phil Reed has shown that his setup is best and his class is not temporary, because he is pulling away always in this section, and the gap opens up to about a second. But can Rene Osterkamp close this one down and make sure we are in for a grandstand finish here for the first ever race at the Nordschleife for this AOR Pro Mazda Championship? Now we've hit this long back straight right now, we will look at Andy Cowie in the LM Rennsport car, the second of them. Well, he has had a very quiet race as Andy Cowie. He's stayed out of trouble apart from one spin last lap. He's done a very solid job of securing 3rd place. He's in a world of his own, and he hopes that he might be able to pick up the spoils of these two. And as I say that, Osterkamp trying to close in, reeling the gap once again for Phil Reed. And it looks like he's going to get onto the back, but I don't think he's got enough time to make the move stick. There you can see he's going to have a little look. Is he? No. He showed the nose, but no opportunity to make it through. Through they go to the right. Next corner on track, the famous carousel. Here, 180 degrees, banked into the left-hander. We've seen one Hydroforce car off there today. Well, we won't see one off there anymore. Wow, now Phil Reed will have to try and play a very attacking strategy, break Rene Osterkamp before the back straight. That's his only opportunity now to try and negate any form of overtake. It might be a boring race on his part, but he wants it to be, so that he has a guarantee of winning. Osterkamp will want this to be an exciting one. So, look at these quick lefts and rights they keep taking here. Hardly any lifting from these cars. Into the right-hander they go, and they are pushing themselves to the limit. Poor camera angle we have now. Into the left they come here for Rene Osterkamp and Phil Reed, your championship leader right now, and the heir, possibly the heir, to the throne of drivers champion. We've only ever had two. One, Kerry Norden in the first season, and then a certain Mr. Justin Brunner took the triple. 3 back to back to back. But now we are looking. No one has ever driven this Nordschleife before in these cars, and now there is an opportunity. Running out of corners now is Phil Reed. He needs an opportunity to break, and I don't think he is going to get it right now with the pace that Osterkamp has suddenly found through this high-speed section. Now they go. They've got just a few corners to go before the back straight 3, and they can see just how much Phil Reed is pulling away from Osterkamp right now. Wow, into the carousel they go. A wider line taken by Rene Osterkamp, and he gets a good run out of it. He is doing everything he needs to do. One corner to the back straight, and he is in range, and he is closer than he's been all race long. Osterkamp with a chance now. Surely that he can do it, as we are going to switch to Andy Brown at just the wrong time. Into the left-hander he goes, and whoa, around he goes. There was a reason why we switched, and he's gone around, and he has lost a position to Steve Kagerer, who has really not featured in our broadcast too much today after his show, but now he's in 6th. but we have to try and see what's going on at the front, and they're side by side on the final lap, on the final back straight. There's only a few opportunities left, and well, Osterkamp seems to make the move stick back into the slipstream. Comes Phil Reed. Can he make it go? They're going to be side by side through the left and right. Oh, they get almost so close there into the left hand, and they touch. Oh my word, they touch. And Phil Reed keeps it on the island. But look, Osterkamp's got damage into the final corner. The start-finish line is close. He's blocked. And Osterkamp has held on for a memorable win at the Nordschleife. His first. And wow, what a finish that one was. I can't believe it. That's the most exciting finish we've ever seen in the AOR Pro Mazda Championship. Andy Cowie will come home in third in the Triple 2 machine, half a minute down. It is Jean-Francois Godin who will finish fourth for Team Players Racing. What could have been for him a quiet race. Martinson in fifth. He will be tied on points now with a certain car of Michael Mittler there in 17th. We're just running you down through the end results right now. What a race there. Liam Robinson will be disappointed with 12th. Tyler Cleared even more disappointed with his crash with Michael Mittler. Wow. Just give us a moment to catch our breaths. Wow, what a finish we have just been witness to. There is Steve Kager coming across the line in 6th position. Andy Brown, a poor spin on the final lap. The only Willows GP car in the field today. He will finish home in 7th position. And oh, a bit of theatrics. So this is what happened. Osterkamp there and Reed side by side, contact there, but the damage was done on Osterkamp's suspension, but not enough there on Phil Reed. He was very lucky to get it sorted through the final corner. What a heroic final few corners. There's the line, and well, Phil Reed did all that he could. He had one opportunity. They did unfortunately touch. There is Robert Plumley, the 147 machine, coming across the line. And there is Frederick Johansson, who's going to cruise home to what I believe is a top 10 finish. There is Vittorio Santana-Macchia's battered and bruised car coming across the line. What a finish. One more look at this contact then. Bang, there it is. And well, it's very difficult to apportion blame. I'll call that just a racing incident. So, that was a really tight finish. You can see Phil Reed was slowed heavily through that section, and this is what it's done to the championship. 28 points the gap for Reed ahead of Michael Mittler. Mittler can use this as a drop week though, and that will be important though. Martinson equal on points, but he's had consistency all the way through. Osterkamp there on 106. His season has been rejuvenated with his first ever step onto the top of the podium. Wow. Constructors Championship then. AOR Blue take a 58-point lead over LM Rennsport with Michael Mittler crashing out today. That was not what he wanted. Hydroforce Racing cement third position now with LM Racing in fourth, and AOR Red on 103.5 points. They're fifth in the standings. Well, next time we are going to be out at Phillip Island in Australia. My name's been Jake Sperry. I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast, and we will see you next time.